These are the plaintiffs, Stephen Price and Maria Gundy. Maria says her boyfriend, Stephen, lived in a room in the defendant's house, and the defendant was abusive towards him, and it became unbearable to live there. Once he moved out, the defendant decided he would keep some of his security deposit, because he thinks he can be a sneaky son of a gun, and they will go away. Ha! They're suing for $160, the balance of their money owed. This is the defendant, Stephen Cuomo. He says the plaintiff lived out his last week of tenancy by using some of his security deposit. He also left a bunch of furniture behind for an extra week, which meant he couldn't re-rent the room to someone else until he removed it. Oh, him? No way. He's accused of being a rotten renter.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs say they rented a room from the defendant and he became super abusive, but the defendant says the guy was so subpar. It's the case of rotten renting.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Stephen Price?
Yes.
And
yes,
Maria Gundy?
Yes.
You are suing Stephen Cuomo, your former landlord, for $160, a balance of an unrefunded security deposit, plus $10 overpayment of cable. And according to you, you've tried to get it from him several times, and he will not pay you, so you've sued. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, I moved out on November 2nd, and at that time, Steve, my landlord, told us that I could use I had a 2-week security deposit.
Right, so in the amount of $300?
Right, and he said we could use 1 week for the last week, and then on that Saturday, he would give us the balance.
Okay, so now were you paying in advance of for the month, or you were paying by the week?
We were paying by the week. I paid on Friday.
But you would pay for the week that you'd already lived there, or you would pay for the week that was coming up?
The future week.
You would pay for the future week?
Right.
Okay. So when was the last time you paid?
The last time, I guess I would ask, Maria was making the payments at the time.
It was the week, the last week, the week.
Tell me the date of the last time you paid. Because according to him, you're paying after you've used up the week, not you're paying in advance. And it matters because we're talking about 1 week's rent here. That's what this case is about. So
No,
who's right about that, Maria?
No, we would pay Friday for the week going forward. So Friday, when we paid on
I'm
Friday.
going to have to see a payment history, because according to you, that's what would make sense, is that you're supposed to be paying a week in advance.
In advance, yeah.
But according to you, he had fallen behind.
Yes.
And when did he fall behind and start? In July. Do you have the payment history written out?
No,
or
I don't.
printed out?
I just have the last payment that they made.
Do you folks have any clue how to figure this out? Because I don't. How am I going to know whether what was paid was for the week before or the week after? Are you maintaining that it's for the week before?
It's the week of.
The week, what week of?
The week
So
they paid for the 20th. That was for that Friday past, from the 13th to the 19th.
The 20th of what? What are you
20th
talking?
of October. I'm sorry.
Okay, and that was that would cover from when to when?
13th to the 19th.
And now I need both of you to prove to me to see it your way.
Okay. She called me on the phone, said, "Can I pay it on a credit card through our family business?" That's the only reason I don't have it. The only reason I have is the last one is because my accountant has all our stuff for the taxes for this year.
I know, but that's what you're being sued on whether.
I understand that, but
right.
you know what?
No,
he was supposed to move out on the 28th. They didn't move out to the 2nd, and they left their furniture. They didn't come until the 4th to pick up their furniture.
Is that accurate, that you didn't come until the 4th to pick up some items?
We moved out about 95% on the 2nd, and then we called him that weekend and arranged it to come back the next week and pick up any
Yeah, but why
additional
are you allowed to leave stuff there? That's not a...
Well, because on the 2nd, that was his last day, and we weren't renting. He was already renting the room after the 2nd.
Yeah, you already had it.
He already had a tenant in there. It's not as if
When did that tenant move in?
We had to pay for it.
On the 3rd, Friday. It's supposed to move in Thursday.
So did that tenant pay you from November 3rd forward?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So, which means that you did not lose a week of rent by them leaving the stuff there, right? There's no damage.
No, it's just a security.
There's a violation on their part, but there's no damage to you.
No, but this
right.
is security.
There has to be a damage to you for you to be able to keep it for that reason. So we're left again with what I need to figure out, which is, are you paying in advance or are you paying for the week that passed? Because if you're paying for the week that you've already lived because you've fallen behind, was there a time in July when you fell behind? What's the relationship between you two?
girlfriend.
Dating or?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
dating.
okay. All right, when did you two start dating?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Oh, so she's been around for, but you're not living there?
No.
Okay.
Jeez.
Did you fall behind in July?
No, I guess.
I paid 1 week. I paid him an extra week when he said he fell behind.
Okay,
he would
so
not
let me
take
see
any
that.
payments.
Then you'll have, is that what you just handed me?
Well, that's
Here,
why
put it in the order that you want me to look at that's going to show me that you were caught up and paying in advance. That's what I need.
Well, wait a minute. Steve got sick, went away. I didn't know what to do, so obviously a week or something lapsed there. When I finally got in touch with him to see if he wanted me to pay his
When
rent.
did Steve go away?
In August, mid-August.
Okay.
So I went and I paid his rent.
Okay.
And at that time, in August, he said that he owed him 1 week back rent. So we paid that.
Okay, now stop.
Okay.
I'm just going to need from you proof of everything from August until the date you left. That's all. It's not a difficult thing. Please put them in order. If you paid by credit card, you'd have credit card statements. If you got receipts from him in writing, you'd have receipts from him in writing. I mean, when she came on the scene, did she try to catch up?
She caught up to the Friday. She did not make up the week in advance.
I'm a week in advance. That's all I have to say.
So your evidence begins in September?
Yes.
Is this your signature on the bottom? Who's Kim? Who's Kim?
She works at his bar.
She works for me.
Is that her? Is that, I don't know if
No, that's my.
that's yours. So that's correct. That's
Yes,
legit.
That's September.
Okay. Now, what September, this says is it's dated September 1st. It says receipt for rent per Stephen Price for the weeks of Friday, 9/1 through 9/7, and Friday, 9/8 through 9/14, 150, 150, 300 paid in full. If that is dated November 1st, then she's right. She's paying in advance. And
No, it's
then on
not.
October 1st, there's a receipt, $100 cash received in full by Kim Mayer.
Right.
And that is for the additional rent of $929 through October 5th, which means that that is also in advance. And Kim signed that. What are the odds you and Kim made a mistake? There's been no allegation that you're behind in the month of October. The allegation was you were behind in July. No, October's all paid up. Got it. Okay. I think you're just wrong. And I think that these show that you're wrong.
What about the damage they did to my house?
So now we're left with damages. Let's talk about damages. How did they damage the place?
So if you rent an apartment, are you legally allowed to use last month's security or your security for last month's rent?
No, you're not. I believe you get your security deposit upon exit, and you have to pay your rent well ahead of that.
What do you say?
No,
Why?
because you have to, the security deposit is if there's any damages to the apartment.
True.
Or anything, so no.
Yeah, but what if you do it? What's the penalty if you say I'm not paying and you just leave and the security is there?
You need to go to jail.
Oh, jail, huh? Wow, I learned something there going inside the courtroom.
They scratched my kitchen cabinet, moving stuff out.
Let me see. Do you have pictures? Okay, what part of the cabinet am I seeing?
That's at the base of the stairs, the side of a cabinet, the side of a pantry cabinet.
Okay, let me show it to you and let me hear from you.
And how does he know that I did this?
How do you know that he did this?
I saw it the week of, and I took the picture on the 4th. Because I had the guy.
I saw it the week of, meaning what?
The 28th. I saw it when they moved out. It was a Sunday, was the 29th is when I actually first saw it.
Okay, so most of their stuff's out on the 28th. You go in on the 29th and you see that and you take a picture.
Right.
All right, and your answer is, how do you know I did it?
And then why wasn't it ever brought to my attention? It's like.
Well, it looks like a moving, like something scraped it,
And
right?
how do we know it's not the other tenant that did it?
You mean the one before you?
The one that moved in after me that took my room over right away.
Well, according to him, he took this picture. Do you have did you take it with your camera? I mean,
No.
with your phone?
No. Oh, yeah, I did. Yes, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
did.
let me see it. While he's looking for that, you were also complaining that he overcharged you for cable because the cable was only $10 and not $20, and you agree with her that you owe her $10 on the cable thing, right?
Yeah, she misunderstood when I said she owed $20 for cable. She thought it was $20 per month.
Okay.
That's why she paid that. That's the picture.
Thank you.
You can answer that.
The date of the picture, Sue, the love of your life is calling. The date of the picture is December 28th, 2017, not October 29th.
Okay. That's.
So I was never told about this damage.
I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the lawsuit, which is the $160. The fact that the picture is taken so much later means that it could have been the new person who was in there.
The new person doesn't have any furniture, just a bed. He had a metal cabinet.
I don't really care. You told me that you took that picture on October 29th, and it turns out that with a little digging, I found out that you took it
a little digging,
like before court, as opposed to October 29th, which means you're a little less than straightforward on that. And when you, at that point, when you discover something to take a picture of it, then and you discover it after somebody else has been in there, how are you going to prove to me by a preponderance of the evidence that they did the damage, including the fact that it was never mentioned before now? So verdict for the plaintiff in the amount of the $160. That's my judgment.
So the judge finds for the plaintiffs, and Mr. Cuomo, the defendant, is on the hook for the money. You kind of shot yourself in two ways. By not having records of the payments, and then by letting the judge see your phone, which you had to do, and showing that you were wrong on when you took the picture. That hurt, too.
Well, what are you going to do? Landlords always get screwed. Can't be a nice guy. Landlords, be tough.
Well, I'm sorry. If you had evidence, you may have prevailed. You know that. You understand that.
Right.
Okay? You were wrong.
Thanks.
You're wrong. Okay, good enough. All right, he's not happy. Here come the plaintiffs. I think they are happy. Am I right? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Smile.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
good. All right. See some excitement. Good.
Yeah.
No
And
problem.
we were up on the rent all the time, so
All right.
I don't know why he's complaining about that. But,
So you felt it was worth going to court over a
Absolutely,
relatively small amount of money, right?
Because he wasn't seeing things correctly, and then making us say and making us pay for things, and it just was out. We just we don't
Bottom
live
line,
that
it's worth
way.
going to court for $160, 150.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Good enough.
Sure.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thanks for having us.
You must sign a few documents, and then you're on your way. Harvey?
Okay, I mean, look, here's the deal. That it's kind of no harm, no foul, because it takes so long to go to landlord-tenant court that, by the time that you go to court, the tenant's already out, and the landlord keeps the security deposit. So it's really no harm, no foul.